Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Premier Perspective. Today we are here to give our Euro 2020 quarterfinal predictions. The round of 16 was filled with nothing but great games. Um, the Euros have not failed to disappoint at all. And first off, we have Switzerland versus Spain. Now, as everyone knows, Switzerland just pulled the upset of the tournament by defeating World Cup champions France, while Spain put five against Croatia and now have 10 goals in the last two games. So it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, and as for the Switzerland game, overcoming France, France.
So
If
huge.
if you guys didn't watch the Switzerland France game, Switzerland was up 1-0. They ended up missing a penalty. Then France proceeded to score three times, and then after that, France seemed to just shut off and play like they had it in the bag. And then Switzerland scored in the 80th and 90th minutes to bring it to extra time, and then they proceeded to win in penalties. And just the way they fought that out and just like continued playing that whole time. They shut down for a little bit in the time that France
Mm-hmm.
scored, but after that they were just straight fighting. And you can say the
It was
same for
huge.
Spain. Um, Spain,
On the opposite
same
end,
situation, 3-1 up. Yeah, well,
opposite end of Switzerland, as in Switzerland came back
yeah,
while Spain is the one who gave up the lead to go to extra
yes,
time.
right. Spain, yeah, sort of, yeah. So Spain really fought like just
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole thing, and even though they gave it up in just the last minutes, like just about the same times of Switzerland scoring, they were like Javi said on the receiving end of it. Just but the way they fought in extra time, scoring twice within 3 minutes, like towards the end of the first period of
Mm-hmm.
extra time, and they just looked really together throughout that. Now, as for this game, the quarterfinal, will they continue that? Will they be able to
Yeah.
keep that up? I thought they looked pretty, like they looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Croatia didn't really look great.
That's also
Like
true.
aside, like in the beginning, it was just kind of like back and forth. Like once the game got into the swing of it, Spain did play well, but I think a stronger team would have torn them apart.
Yeah,
So as for the
that's the
as
question that I have
yeah,
basically for this game. Like, do Switzerland have the momentum to do what they did again
I think they
from
do.
France to Spain?
I think they
And
do.
how strong is actually Spain? Because we talk about 10 goals in two games. It's a huge feat, but they scored five against a weak Slovakian team. And then they scored five in extra time versus Croatia, with Croatia basically falling apart in extra time. Now, obviously, 10 goals is still 10 goals, but I still don't know how good Spain is. Also, because if you can go back to how poorly they did start with the two draws. So I'm still cautious about Spain. And then Switzerland, like, how good will their form continue from the game against France? Like, was that like a fluke? No one really knows. If I were to pick one team for this, I would slightly lean towards Spain. Only for the fact that it's like the bigger name. And I think that they've played not great, but well enough that I think they might be able to handle Switzerland. That's what I'm saying. This is a really big if. If this is a game that
Yeah,
I
it
actually,
is.
I would say the other games that I'm pretty sure about who's gonna win, but I'm not too sure about this game.
Yeah, it's one I like. Yeah, same as you. I really don't know. Switzerland could have the momentum, but overall, they didn't look strong enough to sustain
Mm-hmm.
it. France, the only reason that they were able to come back against France is, not taking away anything from Switzerland, but
Mm-hmm.
France like kind of turned off and,
Yeah, they did.
you know, and Switzerland took advantage of
Took
that, rightfully
advantage,
so. But
100%.
I think Spain will be able to keep it together and be the better team
Mm-hmm.
throughout this game because even through beating France, Switzerland have looked overall fairly average. So I think Spain. I think it'll be a good game. Probably not as exciting as the way
Yeah.
both teams got here, but I think they'll both be very good games.
100%. So moving on to our next game, we have who I would say are the two best teams in the Euros so far: Belgium versus Italy. Italy have shown nothing but great form. It took them to go to extra time to beat Austria, but still had a good performance there. And Belgium with a solid 1-0 win over Portugal. For me personally, two healthy squads. I'm picking Belgium. There's the big question mark on whether De Bruyne and Eden Hazard are going to be playing. I think if both of those players don't play, it'll be a lot harder. And I think Italy might be able to take away a win in this game. But I think if De Bruyne and Eden Hazard are both able to play, I think Belgium would be able to take this game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's hard to rest that on just two players being available
Mm-hmm.
for the game, just because of the quality in the whole team overall. Definitely Eden Hazard and
Yeah,
KDB, you already know, are just both incredible players, especially KDB being the center, that the heart of that midfield. Um,
100%.
but but still, Belgium really played exceptional in that game against Portugal. Portugal weren't, Portugal were good. They weren't absolutely incredible throughout the game, but Belgium were always together. And it showed that it was Thorgan Hazard who scored it. They didn't need
The
their
big name.
superstars. They didn't
They
need the big
didn't need the
names.
De Bruyne. They didn't need the Lukaku or the Eden Hazard to score that winning goal. Thorgan
Right.
Hazard
And they were
scored
able
an
to shut out.
absolute beauty.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And they were
But
able to shut out Portugal with
yeah.
Ronaldo and all the names they have up
Mm-hmm.
there. As for Italy, even though they went to extra time against Austria, who is obviously considered the weaker team, Austria fought for that one. They
Yes, they
were
did. They nearly went
Austria
up.
played incredible. I would say Italy, I would say, were lucky to get
Mm-hmm.
away
I think so too.
winning that game.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I think they're a bad team by any means? No,
No.
because they still perform well. Austria just fought harder than them
Still
that game,
deserve the
and
win
yeah, Italy
at the end
definitely
of the day.
deserved the win. Yeah, I would say so too. As for the winner of this game, it rests on who's available.
Mm-hmm.
And without a full squad, I don't think Belgium were as strong, and I think Italy had the upper hand with a full squad. I'd say Belgium, but that one's going to be really interesting. I could see definitely extra time or pens for this one.
100%. I
It's
think it'll be a
definitely the
really
two best teams in the Euros,
yeah.
and
I
it's
think
too
it'll
bad
be
they
a
have
really
to.
even match.
Mm.
Back and forth 100%. But yeah, like we already said, I think Belgium if they have the healthy squad, Italy if Belgium don't. Those are the two games that will be played tomorrow, Friday. Um, we have Saturday's games now. Czech Republic versus Denmark. Now, Czech Republic, um, obviously you shouldn't discredit a team that's made it this far, but
I don't know how they did it, man.
I just don't. They lost to England. They beat
Scotland.
Scotland, and then did they lose to Croatia? I don't remember. Or did they
Um,
tied against Croatia? I don't recall.
I believe they
Or
drew Croatia.
it was
I don't
something.
recall either.
Never looked great in any game except for if you're really counting a 2-0 win over Scotland
I wouldn't even
or
say they. Yeah,
a victory over Scotland as a big performance. Scotland never looked great. And then they were playing terribly against
oh, they were
Netherlands
horrible. I
until
don't know
they
how
got
they
the
did
red
that.
card, and then they took advantage of the extra man, and now they're in the quarterfinal. But on the other hand, I think Denmark have been absolutely great in this tournament. They lost their two first games, but played great in both of them. I think if Denmark continues in the path that they're in, I think that they should have no trouble winning this game.
Yeah, I think so as well. In Czech Republic, I mean, it hurt for me watching Netherlands go out like that. And
Yeah.
first of all, they were first first 30 minutes. Netherlands played great,
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't create anything in the well. They were creating, but they just couldn't put anything away. And then that's when I kind of started to get nervous. I was like, all right, guys, when are you going to start putting them
Mm-hmm.
away? And sure enough, they didn't. And then Delic got sent off. And after your like core defender gets sent off. I
Yeah.
mean, they defended incredibly. I mean, Denzel Dumfries had probably the
Breakout
best
tournament.
performance. I think I don't think I've seen any player perform better in any game than Denzel Dumfries in a long time. That's possibly one of the best performances I've ever
Mm-hmm.
seen, and I'm upset for him that nothing was to show for that because he created so many chances. He did so much on the defensive end,
Mm-hmm.
and he was constantly working and he was doing so much, and he really deserved just like to have
Yeah.
something to show for it. But other than that, Netherlands looked poor. Depay looked out of the game. Malin looked like he was trying to just play like a 3v3
Mm-hmm.
pass around practice. It was just bad.
Yeah.
De Jong
I just don't.
wasn't great.
Netherlands just weren't good at the end of the day. That's
They
all it
just
was.
weren't.
Netherlands had the chances. They didn't put any away. They ended up losing this game. Coach getting fired, and it's a terrible performance because they should have beat Czech Republic. And now they face the consequence, and now you're having a Euro tournament where Czech Republic or Denmark are going to be in the semifinals, which is
And if
great.
you
We
look at
always we
Denmark,
always love
let's
an
look at Denmark
underdog
though.
story.
I do too. I'm here
I
for
love
that.
an underdog. That's what I'm saying. When I was watching the France Switzerland game, I like the French team. There's a lot of players that I really like. I love Benzema. I love Pogba, Conte. Like a lot of players that I really like to watch. But once Switzerland scored that second goal and it was 3-2, I was thinking to myself, I really want Switzerland to win this game. I want to see this upset, even though I did have France winning the whole thing. But it was great. And then I talked to Ryan about this, and I wish that I had texted someone or recorded it or something. But I'm watching this game. It's going to penalties, and I say to myself, France are gonna give Mbappe the fifth penalty, and he's gonna miss it. And when he stepped up to the penalty, I'm watching the whole. I'm watching the game with all of my family, and I'm saying he's missing this. He's missing this. He's missing this. He's missing this. He's missing this, and he missed it. And you know, I don't know. I just expected a little more from Mbappe in the penalty quality, but enough about France because they're already out. So no more talking about them. We have our last game, Ukraine versus England. I think it's safe to say that I hope that it's coming home. Um, England
This is the
versus
time.
Ukraine.
There is no
I
better
think
time than this one.
there's not a better chance
They
of
will
it
never get
coming
a more
home.
clear-cut
Yeah,
opportunity than this one.
100%. They were able to beat Germany. Raheem Sterling scoring a third goal of the tournament, and Harry Kane finally getting on the score sheet. They now are playing against the Ukraine team who won in the 121st minute versus Sweden. It'll be really interesting to see how this game goes. But I think England should have no problem if they continue to play the way that they've been playing, especially if they play the way they did against Germany. It's very fluid movement within the midfield and the wing backs, along with the wingers. I thought that they played great. The only difference or change that I would make in the English squad is either putting Grealish or Mount or Foden or whoever in for Saka, and that's all I would change because I thought everything else was great for England. Um, it's a good tournament. I think it's coming home.
It should, and I would love to see it. It'll most likely be whoever wins Belgium Italy in the final that they face. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Ukraine game, Ukraine fought hard, scored in the last minute of the game. I'm not even going to talk about it though because it was very boring. They played a man up after a Switzerland red for the majority of the second half and all of extra time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm not going to say they don't deserve to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but England
Yeah,
England
I
have
think there's
been
a difference in quality. But then
there is a
again, I
difference in
don't
quality.
want to say this either because after the France Switzerland game, I went back and watched our video and I said that this was the most clear cut of all the games. I said there's no I said that I
I
found it
think we were both
I
like,
the words that I used, I'm trying to remember. I was like, I think it's impossible to imagine a scenario in which France don't win this game.
yeah, no, that's
And they
definitely like
lost.
you.
So I
Yeah,
don't want to throw teams out of the water and say that they had no chance. But then again, our job right here is to make predictions. So I'm saying England's winning this game
I'm saying England
with
too, and
ease.
England have been really strong.
Hmm.
Ukraine have been overall so, especially after the last performance. But England have been really strong. They still have not let up a goal in the Euros. I don't think a lot of
Yeah,
people are like realizing that
that's
they
crazy.
still
In
haven't let up a goal,
four
and they
games,
played. Sure, you could say in the group stage. I mean,
doesn't
Czech
matter.
Republic was a decent team. But still, that's four
To not
games, and it
to not concede is a huge feat.
and against Germany,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
that's.
it's a
I
big
mean, I thought
accomplishment.
England played very well. They looked really
Hmm.
together, and overall, just going forward, and they just looked really inspired. With Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling able to um I know they didn't like link together on their game on their goals, but I thought they like linked together well just throughout
Yeah.
the game and their energies matched up with each other. So definitely, I'd say England favorites to win this game and hopefully to go on to win the whole tournament.
Yeah, hopefully that does happen. But that pretty much wraps it up. We wanted to give a prediction while also recapping the games of the round of 16. Once again, we want to say thank you to anyone who's shown support on the channel. Make sure to check out our Copa America video, which will be coming out tomorrow. For anyone who's watching this video today. And yeah, once again, thank you, and we'll see you guys soon.